what's up, everybody?
Hi.
What's up? Welcome to the season 2 of the L.A.B podcast. So this is where we talk about life,
Art,
and business. So I'm your host, Martinson.
and I'm Judah Domino.
Yeah, and in this first episode of the L.A.B podcast, we are going to be discussing marketing and products.
Yes.
Which one comes first? You know, so do you market a product before it's out, or do you wait for the product to be ready before you start marketing?
Right.
Yeah, this is an interesting conversation. You know, that is like the conversation of the egg, that the egg comes before the hen, or the hen before the egg. Yeah, yeah. We are excited to also let you know this season we are sponsored by Stylus Innovative Studios.
Yes.
So Stylus Innovative Studios is a storytelling media company based here in Accra, and thanks to them, they're taking care of all our media. So we have the mics, we have the cameras, the lights, and everything is looking awesome. And if you are not watching us, if you are just listening to us, please then go and look out for us on our YouTube page so that you see how awesome we are looking.
Yes. And we're also sponsored by Traventure Experience.
Yeah.
So they take care of the team building and our traveling experiences and all that. Traventure is all about traveling and adventure.
Yeah.
So knowing Africa more, but currently concentrating on Ghana.
Yeah.
So yes.
Yeah. So we are proud to bring you our season 2, which is sponsored. Yeah. So if you want to know more about the discussion, then stay tuned as the intro rolls. Okay, so Judah,
Yep.
we started this conversation some few days ago. We were talking about products and marketing. You actually brought that discussion, you know.
Yeah.
So tell why that particular
Why
conversation?
that discussion?
Yeah.
Because I find it to be kind of like quite strange. Yeah, here in Ghana. Okay, let me say in Africa, because I'm talking based on Kenya and Ghana.
Yeah.
When pre-sales does not really work, like when you market something as it's cooking or even before it cooks. So we kind of like, as an artist, working on a book. Okay, I just launched my second book
Yeah, Judah just
last
did.
week Sunday.
Yeah, it was
Check it
awesome.
out.
Yeah, it was
29,
awesome.
Loving Me Hair and Hair.
It was a birthday surprise book launch. Can you
Yeah.
imagine? Yeah. You know. More on that on the Instagram. Go check it out too.
So yeah, so that, and then looking at the way the US guys do their stuff. Okay, the Western side do their
Yeah.
stuff where somebody can pre-sale their album before it even comes out.
Yeah, like
and then
Kanye
here,
did. Yeah.
like Kanye did, but here, like your album has to come out before you can sell it.
Okay. Yeah.
And even for a business, like, do you go around and tell people, yo, you know what, I can do this for you. I can do this. Like, you know,
So give me money.
Give me money. And
And I'll
come
do
and
it for you.
give me like 2 months and I'll go deliver it. Doesn't work.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Yeah, so when Judah brought that conversation up, I thought it was interesting, and I was trying to figure out the balance, you know, between, because if you're listening, he's looking at it from like the Western point of view. You're able to pre-sell something before the product is out, but now let's bring it to our context. I'm here in Ghana, Ghanaian context. Ghana is a different market, man.
Yo, totally different.
Yeah, so I was trying to figure out, for me as an entrepreneur, as a businessman, how do I strike the balance between selling my products before it's out, and also being able to please the Ghanaian consumer. So let me just share a little bit about the Ghanaian consumer, so those who are not familiar with get to know. So the Ghanaian consumer, actually, most of them, I'm not going to say all of them, most of them make their purchases based on testimonies of others. You know, so they are skeptical buyers. So if the product is out, they're not sure. Is this something? So they would like to know, have you bought it? Did it work for you?
Yeah.
You know, and if they're going to spend money, they need to make sure they are getting like a good deal for their bucks, you know, for their money. And so selling an idea or selling a product which is not yet ready to them is going to be like, it's going to be difficult, because first of all, they even want testimonies from others testifying that the product working or not before they even buy it. So I was trying to figure out how do I go about in such a situation, because a lot of the things that I try to sell to my clients are also kind of conceptual, right? So, for example, right now the business is venturing into virtual production, which most people here are not familiar with.
Yeah.
So it's like a concept to them.
Yeah.
But how do I sell to them for them to buy into that idea before they even see how it actually works?
Yeah.
You know, after So yeah, it was an interesting conversation, and this is let me just share my piece of it, just a bit of my piece of it. I think marketing is very, very essential, very, very important.
It's
I
key.
would, like, if it was in any other place, I would say start marketing your products before it's out. But looking at where I am, I think upon the discussion, I realized I learned something from what you said, that I could definitely go ahead and market the product it's out, but it's to a very limited group of people, and then that would be my family,
Yes.
you know, and some
Family and
close
friends.
relationships
Yeah.
that are close relations that are around. So friend or a friend of a cousin or like that kind of people. So these are the people that I could discuss with and then like let them know like, oh,
Can
this
I,
is a
can I? But do you know something here? Those people are still not buying the idea because of the idea. They're buying the idea because of the fact that they know you.
yeah, yeah.
So then I guess it's us. So this is a lot about us as Ghanaians, because
Yeah.
that means we have trust issues. Then
Oh yeah, definitely. That I think that's why I use the word at the beginning, skeptical bias. you know.
yeah.
So yeah. So that is. So they are buying into it, not necessarily because most of the time it's not necessarily it's a great product, but because they know you.
Yeah.
But then you need to actually also prove yourself that it's not just about the relationship,
Yeah.
but the fact that the product or the service I'm actually selling,
Yeah.
it's good and it worth you paying the money for, you know. So for me, my first opinion on this is the fact that I think you can market the product before it's out, but it's going to be to a very limited group of people. So like I just said, your friends and family and a close friend, and then like, you know, a friend of a friend and a cousin of a friend and
Yeah.
a friend of a cousin, you know. So
That's a long chain.
yeah. I mean, yeah, that, so
For me, I think it's supposed to be 50-50,
okay.
because if you wait, because I've done it, because even starting my business,
Yeah.
if you wait, and even writing the book, if you wait till the product is out before you start marketing, then the product suffers, because then it gets frustrated, because now you're expecting to be actually, because you spent a lot of time on it, on
And
the
then
product,
money on it.
you expect to now be as like withdrawing some. It's like an ATM.
Recoup your
recouping,
investment.
like little by little. You
Yeah.
don't expect the whole amount, but at least if you're getting like a few hundreds a week or a
Yeah,
month,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
But now it starts from nothing for like either a month or something, and now it's when you're marketing,
yeah.
and you know marketing is also not cheap.
Yeah.
So then it's so heavy. But if you're doing a 50-50, and this is the hard thing, guys. As an entrepreneur, if you're alone, it's harder,
Yeah.
because now you have to be working on the product and also working on the marketing at the same time, which makes sense why the Ghanaian system, or why we market after the product is ready, because now you can devote your attention to marketing.
Yeah.
It's like, to me, I'll just say 50-50.
Yeah.
And if you can't, just go with the flow, man. Finish the product, then just concentrate on selling the product.
Yeah. There's the so recently, a few days ago, I was watching this interview of the I don't know what I should call him, the CEO of Kantanka, and then not the man himself, the Safo Kantanka, but his son, right? And then they asked him about, you know, they marketing their vehicles, because so Kantanka is a Ghanaian owned car production company, so they produce or they assemble the cars here in Ghana.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful. I mean, we are proud of them. So they were talking about how they are not marketing, and then one of the things he said was that is now they are building up their production capacity, and if they do market, the demand will be so high, and then they wouldn't have the capacity
True.
to meet the demand. All right, so that's the whole reason why. But even for now, they were saying they have over 500 of their vehicle already sold in the country, all over the country. So where do you also strike the balance in this situation, where I don't know what I should call you, a solopreneur, so or sometimes I think, let me also in this case differentiate that there's a difference between self-employed individual and an entrepreneur, right? So
Charlie.
We'll get it.
Time for taking the notebooks and all that.
We'll get into that, right?
That's a good episode.
I'm sure we'll get into it very soon. But so you're probably a self-employed person, or you are an entrepreneur. Like, you've built up your skills and you're an entrepreneur, but it's a small team.
Yeah.
But you really start marketing.
Yeah.
How do you strike the balance? Let's say now the Ghanaian market decides to buy into the idea even before the product is out. How are you going to meet up that expectation? Do you think it's a realistic worry you should consider?
So there's one time I learned from my old bosses. They call things like that a good problem. It's a good problem. Why? Because now you get a chance to increase your capacity. Now you get a chance to so people can see potential and even gain funding. Because I don't think if you should go to an investor currently and tell the person, yo, I have like 1,000 orders. Let's say I produce how do you call it? Cassava chips.
Yeah.
I have 1,000 orders to fulfill. Currently, my capacity allows me to fulfill to do 200 pieces.
Okay.
I have 1,000 to do a day. Like, I have a client who wants 1,000 a day. Now, I think you can get investors that will help you raise funds to be able to employ more people to produce more.
Okay.
So I see it as an opportunity for growth.
Yeah.
But it will take, you need like sleepless nights, like 1 week, to make sure that this happens.
Yeah.
Like seeking the.
So I guess then whatever products you are selling must be that good. If here in Ghana you decide to sell and then you get such a great demand for it that you have to eventually ask an investor for help, then it means that either the product is very good or you're having a very good marketing strategy to sell such a product.
Yes.
Yeah. So talking about marketing strategy though, how do you even then how do you then approach such a situation? Let's take it this way. So if you're going to sell a product before it's out, how do you go about it? And then if you're one of those who wants to sell after the product is out, how do you go about it?
I think, for me, the selling of anything and everything, whether the product is out or before it comes out, is let people know that there's a problem. And let them realize what your product is coming to solve.
Okay.
Because I feel like that is the only time you can get people giving you their eyeballs and their eardrums before you release the product. Looking at the current traffic situation in Ghana, marketing a company like Elon Musk, the boring company, which you told me about, and I realized like it's true. That product, before it even comes out, like already is selling.
Yeah, it's already been sold.
Yes. Why? Because at the end of the day, it's coming to solve a problem.
Yeah.
So once you're experiencing the problem currently, and somebody's telling you, I am bringing a product which will solve the problem. See, no matter how skeptical you are, once it drops,
you're willing to try.
You'll be willing to try to see if, unless maybe, sorry guys, but maybe you're a serious skeptical person, that you be like, okay, I want everybody else to try it and let everybody else solve their problem before I will.
Well, there are consumers like that, but yeah, I like that point. So just if you're listening, I hope you take note of that in one of the main points, marketing, a good marketing is letting your consumer know there is a problem.
Yes.
Because if they don't think there's a problem, they're not aware that there's a problem you're trying to solve. There's no need. I mean, when you said that, being a Christian, it just drew my mind to the gospel message. So, so when Jesus came, right, he the people try to show themselves that we are righteous, and then Jesus tried to show them that no, you are not righteous.
Yes.
You need someone to save you. So he actually came to show them that there's actually a big problem. So, oh, you say your scripture says that you shall not commit adultery. Well, I tell you, even if you look at a woman lustfully, you've committed
Yes.
adultery. That's
Yes.
a big problem. Okay, so then how do I get saved from that?
Yeah.
You get it? So that is a good marketing strategy Jesus was using there. So I guess we can use the same. So making your consumer aware that there is a problem that
Yes.
needs solving, and then you have the key or the solution to that problem. Yeah. So in this situation, do you think, because initially we talked about the fact that the Ghanaian buyers are very skeptical, which we both agreed with, do you think then our marketing approach as Ghanaian businessmen have been have been wrong, are not using the right strategy to make the Ghanaian consumers aware that there's a problem that needs solving, and then we are bringing the solution, or this is the solution to it?
So-
That's why.
But this is something I find because some of the businesses here, I don't know what problem they're solving.
Okay. Okay.
No, true.
Yeah.
True facts. Like, so even as a startup, like for me, for instance, like my main goal is to work on the working culture of businesses.
Yeah.
Because when I used to work for Flippy Campus, and shout out Flippy Campus, I know Bright and Gideon and Joshua and even Amesh, like you guys did an amazing job. Like you guys helped me to see that culture is everything.
Yeah.
So what is the culture at work? So for me, my goal is to solve that, is to make people kind of like feel at home, like love waking up and coming to work every Monday morning. Because people hate Mondays. But make it like creating a team whereby somebody cannot wait to see their colleague at work, cannot wait to share an idea with their colleague. That is where I want Ghanaian businesses to get to. And so when I see my sister or even a friend of mine go like, oh man, it's Monday again, I'm like, would they resign?
Yeah.
So looking at businesses, some of the businesses in Ghana, I'm like, I don't know what they solve. Because can I tell you something here? With a field issue in Ghana,
Yeah.
I think Zoom Lion has a contract with the government.
Okay.
But there's so much filth in the country. I'm like, what are they solving? It is because if I don't know, maybe they're doing so much, but then we also produce so much filth.
It's possible. Yeah.
It's possible. But I'm like, they were a solution. I love it when they came out because
Yeah.
I think before them there were some small companies trying to do stuff according to neighborhoods.
Yeah.
But now we saw a nationwide like a cleanup movement
Yeah.
or company, and they were doing so amazing. But then of late, it turned into clean your frontage where you have to clean it yourself. But yeah, what I'm trying to say is, like, I don't know some of the problems some of the businesses are solving. That's it.
Yeah. I mean, I've definitely been in such a situation before. So as a young business, when I started my business, building brand identities and all the other thing that comes with brand packaging and websites. So I remember I met a potential client. He was in the hotel business and then was the marketing manager for that hotel. It's a big hotel here in Accra. And where I was trying to sell my company and what we do to him. So I was trying to let him know the listening to the marketing manager, I realized he loved marketing in the old school way, where you move from point A to point B to offices and what do you call it? Lunch with this person, let's go to this office, and then so that they could, because their hotel kind of focus more on events, conferences and stuff, and then that brings in clients living in there.
Yeah.
So I was just trying to show him that, well, that is a good approach, but social media, internet, technology is trying to even help us reach a wider, audience or wider client base. But I realized that the more I try to let him understand that this is the problem, it's limited to the people you know around or the places you could just only travel to, but there's more people beyond that you can travel to. He didn't see that as a solution to
his problem.
Yeah. So he was like, no, I prefer going face to face and meeting. I prefer. So in the end, I had to let it go. I realized that it was a futile effort trying to convince him that um, technology could help you even
Yeah.
reach a wider, you know, client base. And so I'm in that moment. I'm not going to blame him. I blame myself that I didn't do a good job. Let him know how big the problem is. The fact that he's only limited to the places he could travel to the
Yes.
people he could meet, and
Wow.
and then to
Wow.
his immediate environment, you know. So he didn't see that as a problem, and he preferred the situation he found himself than the.
You know, hearing you speak, I'm like, it's not that. So it's not that the businesses are around are not solving issues. I think they've not marketed themselves to be solving an issue.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what they solve.
Yeah.
So I'm correcting myself because as you spoke, I was like, what if they solve something, they solve an issue, but then I don't know. Because like I don't see it like they're solving something. But it's like, because you were trying to help him, like you were trying to solve a situation, because at the end of the day, then they can now begin to look at virtual events whereby their place still is used, but then it's used to broadcast virtually.
Yeah.
Like all that is possible,
Yeah.
but at the end of the day, to him, like yo, it's very far.
No, it's not a problem. He wanted. He was like, I like going to places. I would like to meet people. I like, and then it wasn't like the internet or the social media or whatever is going to get rid of that. And so, but he thinks it doesn't necessarily bring. And I think also was because prior to meeting me, they had either hired someone to try their social media stuff. I wasn't actually selling social media solution, but it was a comprehensive like brand strategy, which probably the end would include social media and all of that. But because they had previously, you know, brought in someone, probably the person promised them some high gain with social media marketing, and then maybe he didn't see that, so he didn't think it was really worth wasting his time on that. So, anyway, we're getting so much into that, but what I'm just trying to say is the fact that it's if you're really going to go out there and sell your product, whether it's out or it's yet to be out, you need to like sit down really and think about the solution. And when you go out there doing the marketing, you weigh, I was going to say weigh, but you let them understand the weight of the problem that you're trying to solve. You get it? Because if they don't think it's a problem enough that needs solution, they will. You know, the Ghanaians are also complacent. They lie like, oh, if it is working, why do I need to change it?
Yes.
If it is, even though if it is working mediocre way, if it's like, as long as it's not broke, it's like it's not completely broke, and then I could just push it on one wheel. You know, though it's supposed to be on 4 wheels, but one wheel is working. Why do I need to?
Can move the whole car.
Why do I need to change it? So that is one of the problems. So as you mentioned, one problem is the fact that we need to let them know we are solving a problem.
Yes.
And then the solution, we are bringing a solution to a problem. The other thing I thought of was the fact that the purchasing power of the Ghanaian is kind of weak.
Yes.
All right. So you need to also put that in consideration when marketing, because then if the person's purchasing power is weak, it's a risk. It's a big risk for him putting his money into a product that he is not yet seeing the results it brings.
But when it comes to the weak purchasing power, I just think it's the economy, because I believe if people are financially empowered, then it's easy for us to invest or to just buy stuff, because now we will believe. Like I feel like, because once you have, so this is the thing, somebody who spends less than 10 CD a day does not believe that KFC is food. He believes that, what's the name? That's the bean seller, the lady who
Yeah.
sells beans.
Or the watching.
Or the wache, for guys who are not Ghanaians, wache is rice and beans cooked together.
Yeah.
And we have that with black chili
Yeah.
and stuff.
Yeah.
You believe that is food?
That is food.
Because that one you can get it below 10 cedis.
Yeah, and then you can get a lot of it.
But then if you earn like what if you spend more than 50 cedis a day, or let's say you spend more than 10 cedis a day on food, then KFC is nothing to you.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? So it depends on your how do you call it, comfortability or
So
pocket.
I like how you said the fact that if you are spending less than 10 cedis a day on food, KFC is not a food. So you don't think KFC is a solution to your hunger?
No, it's not.
Man, I like that. So definitely, which means as an entrepreneur, as a business person living here in the country, you need to figure out who your clients going to be.
Yes.
Your potential clients are. And so, and I mean, in the recent, some of the businesses that you and I did together recently, I just realized in the middle of the whole project going on, I realized that we started off kind of from the wrong foot. Why? Because we marketed to the wrong people.
Yes.
We marketed. We did a marketing strategy. It was all right, but the setting where we did the marketing, the location where everything, the marketing strategy lived, was in the wrong place. And so the kind of people who were coming in were,
they love it.
They love the idea.
They love the idea, but then
they didn't have the power, the purchasing power, to be able to be part of the project and what we were doing. So this is something to really consider, that the marketing. So I think that's why some people would actually hire a very experienced marketing team or marketing, I don't know what I should say, guru, who come in and help them figure out all of these things, because you need to consider who the client is and where your marketing is going to be. So this is not marketing 101. I'm sure very soon we'll have someone helping with us. But this is just us as entrepreneurs, as businessmen, just figuring out how you go about. This is a conversation we have, and we are discussing with you as well. Just let us know if you are listening to us on Spotify. There are some polls down there, some questions down there. Just help us discuss this particular discussion, like this particular topic, and then let us know what you think as well. So it just us considering, like, if we're going to do business, should we start marketing it before the product's out? If you're going to market it before the product's out, how do we do it? Or should we wait and the product is out and then market it? So now let's see. So are there pros and cons to either of them? And if there are, what are they? So is there pros or is there cons for marketing the product before it's out?
Before we go to the pros and cons, I just want to say this: no matter what, just see yourself as an entrepreneur. Look at your what's the name, where you find yourself, your geography. Look at where you find yourself, and that should tell you a lot.
So you need to study the location.
Study yourself, your character. Your character as a member of the society. So that should tell you a lot about the rest of the society. That is the thing, because then you know where to start from. Because if you watch all those YouTube videos from guys from the States, and you can apply that here, it may work but may not work.
Most of the time it's not going to work. I'm
saying it will work but it will not work. I mean, you get a few traction. But then at the end of the day, the kind of numbers they will talk about on their end is then what you talk about. So now let's go to the pros and cons.
So is there pros or is it cons to market the product before it's out? If there is, what are they? The pros and cons for marketing it before.
I think one of the...
If there are pros, let's start with the pros. If not, then let's go to the cons.
What do you think?
Well, I think I agreed with you from the beginning that there's pros to it, but I've mostly seen the pros in a situation which were outside Ghana or outside the African
Africa.
continent. It was mostly in the West, like Kanye's experience.
Yeah.
The founder of Zoom, he's selling Zoom even before he started coding for Zoom, you know. So these are it's kind of work.
But isn't that how tech works outside Africa?
Yeah, that's how yeah.
That's how tech works outside Africa.
How tech works.
They sell it before
the product
the
is
product is really.
definitely. So that is a very thanks for the very typical example of selling the product
Yeah.
before it out. So I see it, but here in Ghana, I have not seen so many of that.
No.
Because you work in with a tech startup,
Yeah.
for a bit. Like, what did you think? Was there?
For me, I think your product needs to come. Like you have to get a full-fledged product or like something that is can run, because always what people look at. So I'm talking about this from a funding perspective, has to do with your numbers.
Mm-hmm.
I think everything has to do with numbers. Even when I work for a church, it has to do with numbers. Like, I think numbers is a big thing in the world currently.
Yeah.
Even for Facebook, whatever you do currently, it's numbers.
Yeah.
So now it's all about how many people are passing through your platform or whatever it is. That determines if you're going to get, because they want to see that there's a future.
Yeah.
If not, then there's no.
So
in
here, even in the tech space, it's hard to sell a product, the idea.
Yes.
Before it's
just
out.
the idea.
I think a typical example, I might be wrong though, but a typical example was Asoriba, because I know some of the Asoriba guys, or I knew them, the Asoriba guy, and then they kind of actually started breaking through after a long time of working on the product with so many iterations, and then getting a few close churches, because Asoriba is actually a church management app, right?
Yeah.
It's a church management app, and then getting a few people to check it out, and then even before Ghanaian churches.
Yeah, started having their own apps.
Yeah, patronizing them. That's what I mean.
Oh,
before Ghanaian churches actually patronized them, then at that time they have been recognized abroad or so, and then now Ghanaian churches started recognizing. Oh, okay, there's a Asoriba. So it's difficult to solve. So I'm just imagining if Asoriba then with that concept, that idea that this is a church management app we're doing, and then you come to my church, and talk to the pastor or the administration, then we're like, this is it. I doubt they would buy into Asoriba. Though they are solving a problem, but they haven't seen that solution. It's going to be so. Here in Africa, the pros is very, 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 very. One thing we forgot though, in the creative space, we haven't talked about that. Do you think it is possible there to sell the product before it's out? So to sell your music, to sell the concert.
So this one I will talk from here, Ghana and Kenya, because I also did a little bit of events in Kenya. And you have the last minute buyers, like because we try to reduce the. So I like to buy early bird tickets because when I see the lineup, I'm like, I'm going for this concert.
Yeah.
Kenyans like the early bird and the late kind of ticketing. So I tried it on my own events, and Charlie, the early bird, it did not really. I did not get the numbers I wanted.
Yeah.
But people bought the tickets like at the gate or some few days before, and I find it to be a little bit, how do I put it, for an artist, I think it's best for you to at least let people have a taste of it. Free taste.
Okay.
Have a taste of it, then now you can direct them to buy. But even buying, do we still sell CDs? Do we sell records? I'm asking guys, if you know, if you're Ghanaian or an African and you know, like, because you've seen guys selling CDs at the, what's it name? At the mall, at the mall.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I'm like, because we're all pushing, like even us. So guys, we're working on something here. When it comes out, This is us marketing before the product comes out.
yeah.
When it comes out,
Yeah, so this is poetry things.
Like it will blow your mind away.
Yeah, project coming. So
deep pieces, like deep poetry. Yeah, back to what I was talking about. So how do I put it? We're all trying to sell on the international platforms, the Apple Music and all that, which always has to do with when the music is already out. But now, before the music comes out, should we do a concert for people to come and listen to us to know? We don't even come for the concert. Like, all these are questions. So at the end of the day, man, just work on your thing, put it out there. If you vibe to it, fine. Then once you gain ground, then I feel like you can sell before. Because I believe Kindly Wizkid can sell an album before.
Oh yeah.
Burna Boy can sell an album before.
Wow. So it comes to that place of the trust the Ghanaian market, the trust issue the Ghanaian market has. So if now they think, oh, now I can trust Wizkid to deliver, then it doesn't matter if you can buy it before the album actually launches. You get it? Because now that trust has been built in that situation. But if it's a product that is yet to come, and they don't know yet what the product is, doesn't matter how fancy or how much of a solution it brings it to them, they might be so skeptical and buying it. But yeah, for me, I'm still trying to figure out. This discussion is not necessarily going to have us conclude that it is better to market before products out, or it's better to have the product out before you market. It's just a conversation. You figured out where your product is, which industry you are in. So from my point of view, what I do, as a designer, as a filmmaker, is now I need to do personal passion project, and I put it out there so that people see products, and then now when I'm selling to them, I can reference some of this stuff. Else everything is too conceptual, even if it's solving a problem. So like, for example, it was during the COVID time, we tried to develop ourselves, looking at how a lot of the conferences and marketing events that happen around the world change all into virtual. Like Apple now, instead of the quarterly event that they do at their campus, now it's all turned virtual. And then it was really, that was when we tried to get into that space, also build the infrastructure here in Ghana to assist some of the corporate bodies like multinationals and other Ghanaian companies to also host virtual event meetings, conference, and all of that with that. But we've not done so much big marketing on that. But from the few I've encountered, it was still like a very far-fetched solution, or it's a concept. It's like, this thing I didn't see. So anyway, coming to the fact that I need, for me, from where I'm coming from, usually I need to put out a work, to push out a work to add to my portfolio, whether it's going to be a passion project that I do with a team. So like the documentary film, right? It was a passion project, and I wanted to do. But at that moment, I saw it as also an opportunity to show off my skills to potential clients. And so I did it with my team. We produced an incredible film. It was the first time a documentary film, and the feedback was great. Even gotten the feature in the UK Film Festival was great. So if you don't know about the film, it's Abilities, Life of Entrepreneurs with Disabilities in Ghana, and it's on our YouTube channel, Exodus Creative Africa. So when you go there, just look for the film Abilities. You will see it there. So interestingly, that film has opened more doors to other films, paid films. Other paid films, and I'm realizing that that is how the market works, especially here. I mean, majority of the world will also want to show some work, but especially here on this continent, you have to show work, and that's where you get work, or you have to show products before you get someone to really buy into it. And I would definitely would like to hear from anyone who believes otherwise, that you need to you can actually market the products before it's out, and I would really like to learn from that.
Please, if you can, please help us. Tell us.
So you can hit us up on our YouTube, comment section as well, and then just
look for us in the social media.
Yeah.
At the L.A.B. Africa.
The L.A.B. Africa, the L.A.B. podcast.
The L.A.B. podcast. And then just hit us up and send us a DM, and we'll be willing to sit down with you through Zoom or maybe physically. Then we can see how to sell a product in Africa or in Ghana
before the product
comes out.
Yeah, and
we'll concept stage to whichever stage before you have the final product. Yeah. Please, we'll be willing to
have that conversation.
Yes,
so they could definitely, hopefully, change our minds. We believe it's something that is possible, but we haven't yet seen much of it, or its effect.
We can be there first. Should we do that with our EP, with Projectings?
Oh,
market it before.
Yeah, so which means you have to sit down and figure out what kind of marketing strategy we're going to use.
Before. Yeah, guys. So we'll tell you that was the name next time.
Yeah.
Whether we accepted the challenge or we decided to put a challenge for next year.
Yeah. Now when it comes to having a product out before the marketing, we've already discussed some of the pros. Is the fact that because the Ghanaian buyer, the Ghanaian market believes in results, in proof, seeing it, it's more easier. It's the easiest approach a lot of entrepreneurs or solopreneurs would go with the route they would go in, but it's a very risky route to go as an entrepreneur or as a someone doing your own business, because you might invest so much. So let's say you decide to these days content creation has become a big deal all over the world, right? And then Africans are also now getting into it. We are a bit too late, because when you go on the YouTube, you realize that people started 11, 12 years, 15 years ago, right?
Yeah.
But now you see that Africans are also getting into it. And now you decide to have this business where now you are maybe buying mics or some gears to help content creators. But you invest so much into it, now you bring it there and no one is willing to buy. How do you go about it? Everybody is I'm going to use my phone mic to record. I don't think I did a
but that's the way to start, though.
Definitely it is. But he thought it was going to solve a problem by helping them record a good audio. But it comes and then the Ghanaian market is complacent. It's my phone mic works. Why do I need a good proper mic or my camera mic?
Let me just give a shout out. So shout out to Stylus Media. Back in the day, we used to use one mic, but currently we have two. Just so you know that we're growing.
Yeah.
But that's a sign of growth.
Yeah.
And that is really important. Like you mentioned, it just came to mind.
Yeah. So it's a very risky thing to do as an entrepreneur, but it's how the market works. So you try it. If it works, great. If it doesn't work, then you need to find another way to recoup that money that you've invested. And then whether you have to change your product or change your marketing strategy or just
keep tweaking it. Sometimes it's that you came too early. So our elders have a thing of saying they can give birth to you before your time.
I said it was given birth to before his time.
It's like you're from the future, or you're from you're from the future. You've come. So all the things you say to people.
I'm trying to remember a typical example. I think we've discussed this on a podcast or in our own conversation where we mentioned a particular company or products.
But let's look at what's the name. Let's even look at Zoom.
Yeah.
Currently, I don't know how true it is, But I believe that, what's the name? Skype, Zoom has taken over Skype.
Yeah.
Zoom before COVID, I didn't know about Zoom.
Yeah.
I never did. Like, did you know about Zoom?
No, I didn't.
Yes, but after COVID, like Zoom became the thing.
Yeah, during COVID started, now everybody.
Like during COVID, like Zoom became the thing.
I also believe so. One interesting thing to note that Zoom didn't change their marketing strategy during COVID, like, or let me say the beginning of COVID. Apparently, Zoom had always been there where they offered that free first time, is it 1 hour or something like that, and afterwards 45 minutes for free with group, and so it's been in existence for a long time. Okay. It was during COVID. Now people discovered that I could do free calls because Skype was, you had to pay if you want to put a lot of people on the call.
Oh, okay.
You know. I don't know about now.
I didn't know that. I only use Skype for job interviews. I
yeah, but it was one-on-one. You don't do group. Yeah.
How did they Skype ones? That was when I was applying to go to Mass.
Yeah. So Skype, I know, or the group interview, you had to pay. It was something like that, and that's what the group conversation. That's what I remember then, but I don't know how their business strategy is now. So when people discovered that they could have a free 45 or 1 hour group meeting like, so everybody jumped on that wagon, and then that was it. But prior to that, I got to learn that Zoom had been in existence. Campuses abroad, were some of the campuses in US and different part of the world were using Zoom for some of their online classes. So yeah, I don't know whether you would consider that as they being ahead of their time, but sometimes it happens that the solution you are bringing, it's possible that it's ahead of its time, and then at that moment you might not get the market for it, but then
think about it. No, it just came to mind, not to cut you off, because High Five was there before Facebook. But High Five did not survive. I don't know, but it's similar to Facebook. It's similar. In fact, MySpace. Is it High Five or MySpace? MySpace. Yes.
MySpace was
MySpace.
I didn't use MySpace. It took me a bit even to use Facebook, but I guess it was more easy to make friends on Facebook than it was on MySpace. So so you realize that from the beginning, like, people liked the idea that I could make friends from around the world. We didn't like just a click request and then it connected so many people like within a goal, you know. So that probably is the situation, and that was the solution Facebook was bringing. That, hey, you can have a friend. It's like pen pal, right? You know, those days we're doing all this pen pal where, like, sometimes we go to a pen pal list looking for pen pals all around the world. That's what we're doing, but that one took time. Like, you have to write selected. It takes days or weeks before it gets to a location. It takes so much long to get a reply, but then you could do the same within few. So maybe that was the solution that they were able to sell that the others didn't sell. All right. So, but so these are, for me, these are some of the pros. The fact that it's how the market works here in Ghana. So if you bringing a product out, there's more likelihood of you getting people buying your product, because now they can see it. There's a proof that this is what it is. This is the medicine. It's curing this. And a lot of the time, what I see with the herbal medicine or herbal companies here in Ghana is like the fact that they'll bring the product out, they'll let people use it for free sometimes, and then after take pictures of before and after, just to show that this is actually what is happening before people would buy it, you know. So that's how the market works here in Ghana. I think that's also the reason why a lot of people probably skeptical about I don't want to really go into that, but I just had to say it, the vaccine, because they haven't seen the the result, like how does it really, but at the point where polio had a great effect here in Ghana, you get it, and then now they brought the vaccine to a lot of parents went for it, took their children to go for it, because they saw the problem, which was polio, and they didn't want their children to be. So most Ghanaian, I wouldn't say every Ghanaian, believes in the polio vaccine, but most Ghanaians now vaccinate their children, with the polio vaccines and all of that. So Ghanaians want to prove before they really step into it, before they like really take that job or really like buy that product. Um, and the risk for you as an entrepreneur is that what if they don't buy? What if that is so? So, which means then you need a strategy. You need to figure out your strategy of selling that product before the product is out. Even if you're not going to market it yet, you need to figure out the strategy to selling the product before the product is out. So, any last words, Judah?
For me, like I've said earlier on, I still believe in a 50-50, because I think we've done one way throughout, whereby as Ghanaians, I'll talk for the Ghanaian markets, whereby we sell a product after it comes out. But I'll go for 50-50, and I know it's hard, and I'm saying 50-50 because I'm also trying to do 50-50. So
try to sell the products.
So selling the product as you work on it, because at the end of the day, it makes you sharp. When I say it makes you sharp, that's what I mean. Because you're given a deadline that like you've told the whole world that you're supposed to release it by, let's say, 15th of September, which means that by 15th of September your product should be ready. There's no delay. So even if it means having late nights, you still kill it. You still deliver. That is the thing. But then if not, I feel like you just keep working on the same product, and God knows how long. Like someone told me some time back, he's like, "Oh, Jesus said he's coming soon." And it's been 2,000 years.
Yeah, it's true. So, like from your last phrase, so it's true. The temptation of trying to work your product out before you sell it is that, and then I think this will be a problem also for lots of people who want to get it right with the product, is that you might work on the product for a long time, and you would have spent so many hours, so much money in it, and then still the product is not ready. And at a point you might find yourself in a situation where you probably might need investment to further the project or whatever it is, and it's still not out. So I like that idea. So I remember one gamer an indie game developer. He talked about how he sold his game. So it's a beautiful game. When I haven't played that game yet, and then he developed, when he was developing the game, he just shared screenshots of the game he was developing, the ads of the game, and people were like, "Oh, this is really good, this is really good." And then he was like, "All right, I want to launch it around this time," and then within that time, people were like, "Oh, I like the graphics of this game." And then he released just a few seconds of sound, a gameplay, few seconds, and then people were like more excited on it. That was on Twitter. And he said a few days to the launch of the game, a big game developer came around. There was an exhibition, so he saw the guy came around, played a bit of the game, and then the guy was giving feedback, which were really good feedback, but it was a lot of feedback. And then he realized, I'm not going to be able to implement all this feedback before the game launch. He launched the game with all the bugs and whatever it was with, and as the game is on, he kept fixing those bugs, and then he kept working on it, and he kept working on it. So like, I don't know whether I'll put that in the 50-50 situation where you're talking about. So he marketed the product, he just shared snapshots, he shared a few seconds of the game in progress, that he was still developing, and then he launched it, even though it wasn't in its perfect state. It was playable, but it wasn't in that perfect state. And then as people played, he kept working and fixing the bug. And I just feel like it's something, that's what business is. You just take the risk, try it, see if it is going to work. And then if it doesn't work, then you try and figure out different trajectory or different strategy you're going to go with in doing that. So I definitely agree with you. For me, I don't think I have any other last word because I think I've said everything
Yeah, you said.
I've said everything I want to say, and then it is for me currently. That is how I'm approaching my business. I try to show work. I try to put out projects. So I try to do a lot of. So if I get a concept of something that I really want my clients to buy into, I do it for myself, and then I show it to my clients
Yeah.
before they buy it. So. Well, because I'm living here in Ghana, and then that is the easy way to sell. Uh, it's a lot of hours put in there, and then sometimes it's not all of them that pays. Sometimes it ends up just in my folder, and then I even forget sometimes even to post it on my social media because, well, no one seemed interested in when I show them. So, all right, not to discourage anybody, but this is just us learning, and I'm hoping
Yeah.
you've learned something from today's episode. Thanks so much for spending
Thank
this
you.
moment with
Thank
us.
you.
Thanks for your contribution and discussion, and your feedback as well in the comment section, and those of you on the Spotify app as well. Thanks for taking part in the polls and filling out the questionnaires.
Like, the way you're giving it to only Spotify, like,
No,
thanks, guys, for those of you who listen to us from Apple Podcast and Google Podcast.
I wasn't leaving out them. I was just saying the fact that only Spotify gives access to the audience to comment or to answer questions or to participate in the poll. Apple Podcast doesn't do that. That's why
Apple, I hope you're listening.
Google Podcast doesn't have.
But YouTube also gives people.
Yeah, so and then to all our YouTube fans out there too.
Yeah.
Thanks, and then please hit us up if you're a marketing person, marketing strategies, and then you want to kind of help us, educate us more, and then hopefully educate our audience, our community as well, on how to go about the strategy of selling before the product is out. And then if you want to also educate us more on selling after the product is out, how do we do it?
Yeah.
So we are open. We like to feature you. We like to meet with you. Maybe have some coffee. If it's going to be Zoom too, we're good with it. I mean,
Yes.
yeah. So thanks so much. And as we usually say it, let's make Africa great again. Peace.